problem was, I said General Dodd's the quickest horse I've seen in Australia. So we were excluded from WA now, so it's not even not part of Australia, so it doesn't really matter now going forward.
Hello and welcome to Burning Questions. I'm Tim O'Connor, filling in again for Jason Bonington. We've got one half of the dynamic duo back, though, for this edition. Thank goodness. Nikkita Ross, welcome back to Burning Questions. You should be refreshed after a lovely holiday.
Thanks, Toc. Yes, a nice short 1 week freshen up, but ready to go, and a stellar job by you last week. Really enjoyed it. Yourself and Andy held the fort really well. We did, I reckon. Andy, Gath, you've become a regular to this show, tipping winners. I think you were the only one that tipped their best bet to get home last weekend, Pacifico Dream. Yeah, congratulations and welcome back.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, but good to have Skater back too. So hopefully we can have another good show.
And today, for this week's edition, a very exciting guest. We've got a debutant. We've had a few obviously we've had a few debutants in the first season of the show, but we've got another special one today. We've got a New Zealander turned WA turned Victorian in Stuart McDonald. Stu, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's a privilege to be on.
And I know you took a leaf out of Andy's book and you decided to jump in the car and head somewhere. So where we got you today?
You got me ready to have some lunch and maybe a beer before I have to go feed the horses back later on.
Good stuff. Fantastic. Well, we better thank our sponsors. Of course, they keep this show going. And the first of those is Hip Pocket Workwear. Coincidentally, a shop just popped up around the corner from me. So Burning Questions is obviously doing something good for them too, because they're expanding here in Ballarat. Whether you're celebrating a win or shoveling in the stables like Stuart McDonald, you want your staff to look their very best. And you do that with uniforms from Hip Pocket Workwear and Safety. They have you covered for clothing, protective equipment, and plenty more. Check out hippocketworkwear.com.au. That paves the way for the first of the Burning Questions. Now, this one, I'm very interested to hear the thoughts of the panel here. And we might start with Andy Gath. Who finds the top in the 4 and 5-year-old championship at Melton on Saturday night? Of course, a Group 2 race and one of the features of the night. Andy, who gets to the front and who wins?
Hopefully Pacifico Dream wins, but I think Honolulu Bay is quick enough to find the top. Whether they want to hold it or not first up is debatable, but I'm sure it's got the gate speed to lead if it chooses to. And we'll get a little bit of pressure from some horses out wide, whatever, but I'm sure it will be initial lead if they choose to lead.
Yeah, I was of a pretty similar opinion. Ski, you've done the form. Obviously, you're covering the meeting on Saturday night for Trots Vision. I think alongside Rob Auber. You've done the deep dive. Are you of the same opinion, or there's a bit of speed off that front row and the first up factor with Honolulu Bay? Which way are you leaning?
Yeah, there is. It's going to be a great start. There's no doubt about that, Toc. And I think Honolulu Bay does have the speed to get across at the start. Our Millionaire begins quickly enough. We saw that in the Maryborough Cup. But I think Honolulu Bay will probably find the top. And then I tend to think they might want to take cover first up at this level. He's obviously still only reasonably lightly raced and inexperienced. So I thought if he did cop a fair bit of heat from a horse like Willie Go West, they may opt to take the cover, and it still definitely doesn't ruin his chances because he's such a quick speed horse. So that trial was excellent from Honolulu Bay. So I don't think it would be the end of the world if they did cop plenty of pressure from Willie Go West and hand up. So I tend to think that Willie Go West finds his way to the top.
Yeah, interesting take. And I know, obviously, it's just come out sort of this week, well, in the last day or so, that Chris Alford's going to drive Willie Go West as opposed to Max Delight, who won the Victoria Cup on. So, I mean, you're trying to read between the lines a little bit, aren't you? But you would think that Puppet's going to be fairly aggressive if he's deciding to take that drive. So, an interesting one there. What about you, Stu? You haven't got a drive in this race, but you know plenty about these horses and these drivers, and you would have driven against them before. Who do you see finding the front in this race?
Yeah, I thought the 2 Honolulu Bay does lead. I thought it leads relatively easy. I can't see the 1 being a stablemate offering a whole lot of resistance. Willie Go West has definitely got the speed off the arm to challenge early, but I can't see him really asserting dominance and getting any sort of margin on him where that Honolulu Bay will then want to hand up. I think it probably leads and proves pretty hard to beat off that trial. That was I don't know, Andy will know more than me about the trial times down at Maryborough. I'm not sure if it's lasered or hand, but either way, that's a real good trials time, and that last mile was pretty quick.
I always seem pretty quick there, Stewie, for whatever reason.
All right. Well, there you go. There's a bit more information to obviously what I have. So, yeah, but it's even if it's only a second out, it still seems pretty decent to me.
Yeah, I thought Honolulu Bay would be able to find the front and then decide whether to hand up or not. It's a tricky race. It's a ripper race. I mean, it's on any other night it would be the feature, but it's not. So, yeah, I can't wait for this race. Of course, we've got the talent off the back road. Torrid Saint out to play. Your horse, Andy Pacifico Dream. Mac Down, the Victoria Cup winner. Amazing. They're not going to go around favourite in a Group 2 race, a couple of weeks later. So, cracking race, and the speed battle's going to be very important early on, no doubt. Question 2 of the Burning Questions, brought to you by the Fresh Connection, who export Australian fresh fruit to more than 35 countries. Headed up by Damien Glengarry, who is the export manager, and as we know, every week he does a magnificent job. The Fresh Connection specialise in citrus, table grapes, cherries and mangoes. freshconnection.com.au. Now we're going to start with you here, Stewie. It's really... We framed this question around yourself and your stable and your debut on the Burning Questions. Can Spellbound create some magic and upstage the stablemate in the Queen of the Pacific? Of course, the stablemate is Amazing Dream. What are your chances of causing a boil over from Barrier 8?
Yeah, I think they're as good as they could be. Probably only be better if I drew 1 and Amazing Dream drew 2. Then I'd probably just say Spellbound be winning. She's not going to do any work from back in there. As you probably noticed, she probably loses a little bit of that brilliance that she has when she races over the mile. She loses that when she goes up in distance. But I wasn't disappointed with her all last start. She it was really become mathematically impossible for her pretty much after the first half a lap that she probably wasn't able to win that race. And she still didn't get beaten far. The times were good. I want the Panthers to lead. It'll obviously give me a huge chance. I think I'll be wound into favourite if the Panthers declared they were going to lead. But that'll probably suit Amazing Dream as well. But I imagine they'll probably take the sit on Amazing Dream. But I just feel if at the top of the straight, if I get clear at the top of the straight, I think she can run her down. I think she's we know Amazing Dream in front's not that good, and Panthers obviously is a good horse to beat as well. But Spellbound, her lethal speed is what she hasn't got to use that much since she's been here, and you only really seen it probably at Menangle that time, and she ran home in I think 53-2 or something like that. It was ridiculous, but. Yeah, she's a lethal speed horse, and she's not going to do any work from back there. She's going to be cozy the whole way, and yeah, she gets that split. She's going to be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it's well, as you know, Skeet, she's a real favourite of mine, Spellbound. She has been since day one. When I happened to lob an interview with Nathan Purden, and he told me that Mark Purden had driven her in track work at home and said, "Don't worry, son, don't send her to the trials, just send her to the races." And cashed in that night, no doubt. But is Saturday night the night for Spellbound, Skeet? I'm really interested in your take, because I guess you come from a different picture. You're not a driver, you're not the trainer. You take a wider look perhaps at the form. Is Spellbound capable of causing an upset from perhaps 3 back the pegs?
Look, I think she's more than capable, Toc, especially over the trip. I think that brings her into it. She's going to be on the fence, doing no work, spending no petrol tickets throughout the run. And if she gets clear air in the straight, I think she's probably going to be 3 pegs. I think over the longer trip, they'll probably look to take cover on the Pantheist, and the horse most suitably to follow is Amazing Dream, of course. So I think Spellbound is going to be 3 pegs, and as Stu said, we know she's very quick. So look, Amazing Dream is still the one to beat. I think she's a 9-time Group 1 winner. She's won over $1 million. She's been a champion mare. So I think she is still going to take some running down. I tend to think there's probably going to be a little bit of, they're going to run along. It's going to be a genuinely run race. There's probably going to be moves from the Emma Stewart runners. So I would say that Anthony Butt will keep running along and making sure they work while they make those moves. So look, I think again that brings Spellbound into it. So no doubt Amazing Dream is the class mare and the one to beat. But look, it wouldn't shock me if Spellbound could cause an upset.
Andy, is there an upset on the cards, or will can Spellbound beat Amazing Dream? Of course, she's going to go around. I think she's $1.45 early markets, but can Spellbound win from where she's drawn, and has she got the class to beat Amazing Dream?
Well, there's no doubt she's got the class, and she's run some terrific races in Victoria and all off the fence. So when you get a horse like her that actually can get a cosy run on the fence, you see another go up another level again. So pretty sure the Panthers will hand up to Amazing Dream. So you're going to be 3 fence, Stewie. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're not a bad spot. You're following 2 really good horses. Obviously, Amazing Dream's proven over the distance too. I think she's had 7 over 2,700 or more to win 5 of them, 2 placings. And Majita's the only other horse in the race that's won over 2,700 and beyond. So it's a little bit advantageous for those 2 horses that have raced over that distance because they're very seasoned. But yeah, she'll need a little bit to go right, Spellbound. But if the race go away, there's no doubt she's capable of causing a bit of a ball over.
Well, I spoke to David Miles yesterday, did a bit of a Teams chat and asked him directly about that speed battle, Stewie. And while he's not driving the Pantheist, his instructions, I think, are for Puppet. Well, I think he'd prefer if Puppet took cover on Amazing Dream. So it does look like you'd be 3 about the pegs, but look, it's not like a driver or a trainer to tell a fib pre-race, just to maybe advantage them. So we never know, but it does look like you might be buried away there. But as I say, I've got a massive opinion of her. Particularly, I think that her sprint trip form is the best form, but when you're tucked away on the pegs there, it can become a sprint race, can't it? From there, and I'll be certainly having something on her because she owes me nothing. Well, I'm going to break up the burning questions just briefly because Skeet, we should have pressed record before because we had a little bit of a back and forth here between Andy Gath and Stuart McDonald about a comment that Andy said a couple of times. Now, I wonder whether we're taking you out of context here, Andy, but you have said to me that General Dodge is the fastest horse you have seen. And Stewie, when I asked him to come on the burning questions yesterday, it was one of the first things he said. He said, Andy Gaff got to be drunk to be saying something like that. I'm interested. Are you standing by that? And then I want to hear Stewie rebut this because there's a horse pretty close to his heart that he wants to throw back at you.
Well, again, it's just a comment I made to you, and unfortunately you published it. But but yeah, again, and we're all probably alluding to I'm the Mighty Quinn, who's an absolute champion and won 3 Intermedians and run past some of the greatest horses we've ever seen and at amazing speed. But just from my personal experience and probably being up close, General Dodge, he's just electric. For 100 metres, 200 metres, he just is super quick. And whether he's as quick as I'm the Mighty Quinn or not as quick, it's a comment I made, which I've said a few people that have lived in WA or been there for a while. So, again, it's just one of those comments you make, and I'm still sticking by it anyway. Why he's racing and another one isn't.
Stewie, over to you.
Oh, look, we'll just clear the first thing. That's not the first thing I said. I made a comment to Bonington on Saturday about you saying it because I wasn't sure who said it. And then I asked him that I thought Bonington must have set this up. I didn't go out of my way to quickly criticise you straight away. But while we're here, I will criticise you. I think something. Comparing the speed, but when it comes to Quinny's speed, I think I said earlier, the horse Quinny was running down. They were such a different level to the ones that General Dodge running down so far. I'm not saying General Dodge isn't going to go on to run down better horses than what he's running down right now, and he sure is a fast horse. But that Quinny speed was something different, especially around the 800 metre track. And when he was racing, I never worked for senior, so the horse is not that close to my heart. He's just a horse I like. I love watch racing. He probably got me into harness racing when I started watching him in that Into the Minion series in Auckland.
The problem was I said General Dodge is the quickest horse I've seen in Australia. So we were excluded from WA now, so it's not even part of Australia, so it doesn't really matter now going forward.
I don't know if that's exactly true, Andy. I didn't have you on the record, but and yes, you did tell me that in a private conversation, but you told me about 100 other things that I haven't published, so just be careful. I might throw a few of those other ones out there. I won't do that. All right, we'll leave that alone, Skeet. We'll stay out of that. General Dodge has been kind to me, and so has Quinny, so I love them both. Question 3. Does weight in numbers see Mattie Craven take home the graduate? Of course, he's got the 3 runners. I might start with you, Andy. It's a ripper race, I tell you. And I'm really interested to see if you think Mattie Craven's going to take this race home or there's another winner in the race.
Yeah, the one horse obviously went terrific throughout the Derby in the heat and the final, Longfellow. I'm not sure of its gate speed. Some of Mattie's have got really good gate speed and they could cross it early. So all of Mattie's horses all racing terrific at the moment and all going really well. So anything he produces at the races lately has been very tough to beat. So, he's got opportunity to win it, but I just don't think, it's a matter of turning up and winning it. If I have to pick in the race, I'd be sticking with Longfellow on the draw.
Well, we've got Stuart McDonald on freeze frame there. I don't know if he set this up or not, but he's smiling. Are you still there, Stewie, or what's going on? I can hear him. We'll go to you, Skeet. Stu, make sure you chime in if you're there. This is a great race, Skeet. It's only a $24,000 race, but I tell you what, there's some impressive 3-year-olds here. Is it Mattie Craven's race, or are you looking elsewhere?
Look, I think it's mapped really well for him, and obviously with his runners drawn the front row and having excellent gate speed. Look, I think he's got a definite chance. As Andy said, they're racing in terrific form. I think Kimball probably has the gate speed to get across Longfellow, although we haven't really seen Longfellow's gate speed over here. So, he might surprise us, but I tend to think that Kimball will be able to get across and then typically hands up. So if the stablemate Better Call Me has been racing in terrific fashion, leading his past 2, albeit in easier races, if he is there and on the scene, I tend to think that Kimball probably hands to him, and that puts Longfellow 3 pegs. So I think his progression through the Derby series to run third was excellent, and he's a massive winning chance, as are plenty of the other horses. It's quite open, really, but I think Mattie Craven's team will probably be leading and behind leader, and from there they're going to be huge danger to take it out.
Yeah, that's not a promising sign. Stuart McDonald leaving. I'll have my take, and we'll see if he comes back, but if that's the image you leave when you die, Andy, I don't reckon that's the worst one ever. That's about as best as he's looking, I reckon.
No, argument with me and puts a smile on your face. That's good.
I don't know. In terms of answering the question directly, is it Mattie Craven's race? I don't think it is. I got a lot of time for Better Eclipse. Of course, Longfellow in Barrier 1. Good to see Stewie coming back. And Haliver's been awfully impressive these last 2 starts. This prep, the former New Zealander Johnny Justice's horse. I thought that was a super win at Kilmore, beating inferior opposition, no doubt. But I think Mattie Craven, although he's got 3 of the 10 runners in the race, it is by no means his race to lose. So I'd be interested to see the prices, but I could entertain a little each way. Maybe Craig Rails marked at $16, Haliver, and I love the Derby run of Better Eclipse when he got clear and hit the line. So there's other horses probably for me. You're back, Stewie. You left a freeze frame of you with a massive smile on your face on the back of an argument with Andy Gath. So if that's the face you leave when you go, you'll be doing all right. And you got us on mute here. You need to put the microphone back on. That's better.
Have I got it going now? Sorry.
Oh, good. No, you didn't miss anything. I padded this out brilliantly. Who finds the top? Oh, sorry, that's not it. Does Weight in Numbers see Mattie Craven take home the Graduate on Saturday night?
I didn't think so much Weight in Numbers so much as probably got the best horse in the race and Better Call Me. I first started watching it when it raced up in Queensland. I just didn't think it was sort of that good, but it was a nice horse. And then it seems that the trip up there, then the time off, it's come back super. Its last run, it got terrorised there and run good times the whole way and really cleared away from. There wasn't much else in the field, but it was pressured the whole way and made it look easy. So the times are there for it. Probably going to find the top, I'd say, isn't it? And then from there it should be hard to beat.
Interesting. Maybe a couple of different takes from the panelists there. The last of our burning questions, of course, we've had our first 3 focusing on Melton, where racing will return on a Saturday night for the first time since August 7, I've looked up. And we're going to go to Maryborough on Sunday for the last of the burning questions, with thanks to Falvo Fruits, specialist in table grapes since the 1960s. Michael and Josie Falvo are keeping the tradition going, and everyone loves their grapes. Keep an eye out for Falvo Fruits. You'll know you'll love them. The question is, does Plymouth Chubb continue his stunning season, or will a standing start even the playing field in the Redwood Classic? Andy, I might defer to you here first. You're an amazing trainer of trotters and a great judge. Is it Plymouth Chubb's race, or is the standing start going to prove a problem for him?
I don't think the standing start would be a problem for him. He said the first 2 starts he had were both stands, and he stepped away pretty good in both of them. One of them he did break later on in the run. Just being on the second row is the tricky part. You have a lot of traffic in front of you, and obviously being the stand, you don't have that quick lead time like you do in a mobile. So giving away a start is always hard to beat horses up front that have had it easy. So there's no doubt, he sort of rose to the challenge last start and showed how good he was, and he's the best horse in the race. But it's never easy standing starts if you just sort of miss away a little bit slow, and they all find in position early. You got to come around a lot of horses, but I'm sure he'll step away safe, and he's the one to beat. But I'd probably be betting against him. Just the type of punter I am. When too short from the second row in the stand or off handicapped in stand, I just find it difficult for him to win.
Interesting. Stewie, what do you make of the Redwood? Is it is Plymouth Chubb going to continue on his winning ways, or will the standing start sort of even things out in the Redwood?
Well, it's a good thing you asked the Quinny General Dodge question in between, so me and Andy can end this on agreeing with something. I'm with him. I don't know if he is. Probably I don't think he's just the one to beat. And like Andy said, I'm not sure the standing start is the concern that will bring him back to the field. I think he gets away nicely going back and watching his replays. But yeah, it's tough, like I said, to give away that start when you're off the back row there. And those couple of New South Wales raiders seem like nice horses. Tough love of the one looks like I'd probably be, if I was having a bet, I'd be looking at that. Seems a decent price. And then Josh Dickey sent this horse over to Nathan, and he's looking after it at the moment. And Nathan's pretty happy with it. He thinks it's a pretty nice horse, and obviously Josh thinks it is because he sent it over. So yeah, it's a really good field. And whether it's the toughest one he's come across yet, I'm not sure, but it seems like he's going to really have to, if he beats this field as convincingly as he won last start, then he's probably going to stamp himself as the best around, really, for this age group.
So we've got a couple of our panelists looking elsewhere away from the favourite ski. We were both surprised that I think the early markets had Plymouth Chubb $4 or something like that. He has been backed. I was a bit surprised too to see him open that price. Are you in his corner, or are you like the other two guys? Are you having a couple of dollars each way elsewhere?
No, I'm sticking with him, Toc. I think the arrogance in how he won at Ballarat the other week was, I thought he had to be good to beat that field. We thought that was a quality field. And this is another level, again, as Stewie said, Josh Dickey's got a great record when sending trotters over, and Ricky Elchin's horse looks like a really nice horse, or both of them. So, look, this is another step up again. There's no doubt about that. But like I mentioned, he still had his earplugs in last time and just did it easily, 3 wide the last lap there at Ballarat. So, yes, as the others have both mentioned, standing start off the second row, there's likely to be a bit of traffic, but I just think he's the best horse in the race, and I think he can get the job done.
Yeah, well, it's probably not a race I'm going to bet heavily into, but it is a leg of the quaddie on Saturday, the second leg. So I'm well known for taking an absolute packet of quaddies. I take about 8 different combinations, and I think there's definitely be a case to be made that you take Plymouth Chubb 1 out in a few of them for a good percentage. But I think there's a stack you'd be putting in around him. Some of the Anton Galeno runners, Cravache Dior and Revelstoke, I think can win the race if they trot. And we've spoken about many of the others, New South Wales Raiders and New Zealand Raiders. So I think it's a load up leg in some of your quaddies, and you might, if you can get Plymouth Chubb beaten, you can be looking at a pretty good quaddie dividend. So that's probably what I'll be doing on Sunday at Maryborough. Of course, 2 Group 1s, the Victoria Trotters Derby as well. Now, best bets time. We've gone for nearly a record time here because Stewie's dropped out on us. We're up around the half an hour mark, but we cannot let go the best bets. We're going to start with you, Stu. Are you going to make it one of yours, or have you got a best bet for us somewhere else on the card on Saturday night?
Had she had stayed the $7 that she opened up at, I probably would have said Spellbound's a really good bet. But I'm going to go with Honolulu Bay. I think of its trial, even if Andy reckons those times he said they are a little bit fast, but I think it leads and wins. I like Willigo West as a horse. I really do. I think he's a pretty exciting pacer, and I actually got to drive him at trials, a month or two ago, and I actually come off and said, "Gee, this is a better horse than what I thought it was," and he's sort of gone out and won those couple of races really nicely. But I think he's going to do some work here. He's going to probably burn early, possibly get caught in the breeze, and then it could be just a tough night for that horse. So I think Honolulu Bay wins.
Honolulu Bay. I haven't seen it. Have you got a price for us, Stu? Have you seen any markets?
I think he was second favourite, about 420 when I looked.
Okay, that's not bad. That's about the value we want here. What was that, Andy?
What was he after you looked?
he's into $2 now.
I think now I've declared him, you probably go out. You probably get a better price.
I get $16 on the night. Skeet, which way are you looking? I thought it was a pretty tough card to come up with the best, but what have you done for us?
Yeah, I'm going down towards the end of the night with the claimers, and I'm going race 9 Yorkshire. I think this is a massive drop in grade. He was not beaten far behind Sir Ledick and Bernie Winkle last time out, so I think he should, despite the white barrier, be able to take care of this field. I'm not sure at what price, but if he's a little bit too short, maybe multi him up with ample power in the next, because likewise he drops in grade, and I think he should be winning as well.
Well, that saves me going into too much depth. I'm with Yorkshire big time. I think it is Craig Rail doing the form comment at the moment, and he's marked him 220. Oh, he'd be about as good a $2.20 shot as I've seen for a while if he went up at that price. I shouldn't say this, but I can't see him getting beaten. I think he's a class above them. That run last start was very good against better company. If he got $2.20, I'd be mulching him into everything you like for the next 6 months. Footy teams, no matter what. I think he's a good thing. I just wanted to go out on a high there. Just a good grab for the producers to use later on when I'm not on this show. Andy, what's your best bet on Saturday night? One of yours or one from a different camp?
Yeah, no, it was a pretty tough night, and I'll stick with one of mine, so I've got no one to blame then. But Jan Buckian, I'm going with him, even though he's only 3 and had a lot of starts. Got a back row draw. He's got a lot against him, but he's such a high-quality horse in our opinion, and he's very strong. He can make his own luck. He's getting better all the time. So, yeah, I think he can get the job done on Saturday night, leading to the Breeders' Crown and the Vic Red coming up for him. So this run we're doing good. Well,
fantastic. Honolulu Bay for Stu. Yorkshire for me and Skeet, and Yambaki and one of Andy's for him are the best bets. Well, that closes a marathon edition, a bit like the Queen of the Pacific, a marathon trip. We had a marathon edition of Burning Questions, but it's been a heap of fun. Great insights. Thanks for jumping in, Stu. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy that pint in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, hopefully Nathan's got it sitting on the bar for me.
Good stuff. We might have to get him in next week. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Talk.
Good on you. Skeet, really appreciate it. Good to have you back, and I'll handball the football over to you and Bond next week.
Thanks, Doc. Stellar job.